right, let's try this one more time. Hi guys, welcome to Storytime today. It's Miss Karla, and we're going to be reading one of my favorite books today. But before we do that, let's sing our Storytime song. Are you guys ready? All right, here we go. We clap and say hello. We clap and say hello. With our friends at Storytime, we clap and say hello. We stomp and say hello. We stomp and say hello. With our friends at Storytime, we stomp and say hello. We wave and say hello. We wave and say hello. With our friends at Storytime, we wave and say hello. Hi, friends. All right, guys, do you know what holiday is coming up? Does anyone know? I bet you guys guessed it. It is Halloween. So we are going to read an awesome book about a scarecrow. It's one of my favorite books to read at Halloween time. And it is called Jeb Scarecrow's Pumpkin Patch. And it's written by Jana Dillon. And this is published by Houghton Mifflin Publishers. So thank you so much to Houghton Mifflin for letting us read this book today at Virtual Storytime. All right, this is Jeb Scarecrow's Pumpkin Patch. It's mighty hard work scaring crows all day. Crows don't scare easy. A scarecrow's got to flap and wave his arms around and kick and hurl his legs. He's got to look like a wild man before he can scare those pesky, seed-guzzling, fruit-pecking crows. Jeb Scarecrow was just a kid, but he did a fine job guarding his family's pumpkin patch. Those pumpkin seeds had sprouted up all around him right nicely last spring, and they were huge orange pumpkins basking in the October sun. In the evenings, when the crows were in their nests, Jeb ambled along home to the little straw cottage he shared with Mamo and Dado in the woods at the edge of the pumpkin patch. Jeb, got bad news for you, son, Mamo said that night at dinner. There's talk among the crows of a big harvest celebration right in your pumpkin patch the week before Halloween. Jeb dropped his fork. Why me? He cried. Why now? Those crazy crows throw a party every year, son, said Dado. So far, it's been in the other scarecrows' pumpkin patches. This year, they chose yours. They'll peck and pick all my pumpkins, wailed Jeb. I won't be able to sell any for Halloween. Doggone it, what am I going to do? Not much you can do, son, said Dado, shaking his head sadly. No scarecrows ever won out over the crows when it comes to their harvest bash. No, sir. Not one scarecrow's ever won. There's no way around it, Jeb, said Mama with a sigh. Your pumpkin patch is as good as gone now. You might as well forget about it. There's always next year. No, they can't have it. Not my pumpkin patch, said Jeb, and he stabbed his fork angrily into his cherry pie. Each day, Jeb Scarecrow stubbornly showed up to the pumpkin patch at dawn's first light. He tried to plot some way to save his pumpkins, but it took a lot of thought, and the crows didn't leave Jeb much time for deep thinking. You're not partying here, Jeb warned Grandfather Crow as he swooped by. Oh, yes, we are, called Grandfather Crow, and no scarecrow can stop us, least of all you, Jeb Scarecrow. You're nothing but a kid, and he flew away laughing. Ha, ha, ha. No one is celebrating in my pumpkin patch, Jeb yelled at Bernie Crow. You wait and see, Jeb Scarecrow, mocked Bernie. These pumpkin patches will be nothing but leftovers. And he flew away chanting, Party, party, party. You crows should celebrate in the wild, not in some hard-working scarecrow's patch, Jeb told Lucy Crow. And eat berries when we could be eating juicy giant pumpkins? No thanks, said Lucy Crow. We're going to eat pumpkins. That's right. These pumpkins. Your pumpkins. There's not a scarecrow alive who doesn't get nervous the night before he has to do something important. The night before the crow's big bash, Jeb tossed and turned and twirled until his sheets were twisted all around his middle. It was his last chance to think of a plan. He thought of this, he thought of that. He got up 3 times to eat. At last, in the darkest hour of night, Jeb hatched a plot. Never mind not much sleep, Jeb was up at dawn. As soon as Mamo and Dado heard him, they leaped out of bed. Jeb told them his plan. We'll help, Jeb, said Mamo. Any way we can. All day long, the crows kept Mamo and Dado running up and down the pumpkin patch while Jeb worked steadily. He covered some of his pumpkins with a shirt, a shawl, or some other piece of clothing, then mysteriously crawled under each one. "Give up, Jeb," jeered Grandfather Crow. "We crows will win. You lose, we win. You lose, we win. We win, loser. Ha, ha, ha." "What are you doing so sneaky under those clothes?" asked Lucy Crow. But Jeb didn't bother answering. He just kept on working. At sunset, Dado shouted, "Jeb, the neighborhood crows have flown away to meet their guests." Jeb jumped up from under a scarf and said, "Mamo, Dado, quick! We've got to set up the last part of my plan." The sky still glowed in the twilight, but the earth was dark and shadowy when the Scarecrow family was finished. "I sure hope this works," whispered Mamo. "Cross your fingers," Dado said softly. "Here they come," whooped Jeb. The sky darkened with noisy birds. "Wait till you see those mouth-watering pumpkins," Bernie Crow called loudly to the guests following him. "Yes, sir. Party time." "We're almost there," Lucy Crow shouted. But as they came over the tops of the trees to Jeb Scarecrow's pumpkin patch, Bernie Crow hollered, "Hold everything!" "Monsters!" Lucy Crow yelled, guarding Jeb Scarecrow's pumpkin patch. Great orange heads stared like spooks, grinning up with wicked grins from the pumpkin patch. "Turn back!" squawked Bernie Crow. The neighborhood crows tried to stop, but the crows behind them just kept on coming. Soon the crows were all banged into each other, cawing and screeching and feathers flying everywhere. "Turn back!" Lucy Crow said. "That pumpkin patch is haunted." "Stop pushing," hollered Grandfather Crow. "Let an old crow through." "Party's over," called Bernie Crow. "Party's over." As the crows disappeared over the trees, Jeb collapsed with laughter. Mamo and Dado sat down beside him, hee-haw until their sides hurt. The honking of car horns silenced their laughter. "Hey, Mr. Scarecrow," called a fellow in the car. "I'll buy one of those jack-o'-lanterns for Halloween. I couldn't carve one better myself. And I'll want one of those plain pumpkins, too, for pie." A car pulled up behind his, and then another. Soon, the street was lined with cars. Folks were waving money and smiling at the jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins. Jeb was smiling too, as he and Mamo and Dado hurried about, selling his darling pumpkins. That's the end. That's Jeb Scarecrow's pumpkin patch. All right, guys, I hope you liked that story, and I hope to see you guys in the library real soon. We don't have story time in the library yet, but you can come in and check out books and movies and look around, so we would love to see you guys. All right, are you ready for our goodbye song? Here we go. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to our friends. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to our friends. Story time is done today. We have had a lot of fun. Oh, it's time to say goodbye to our friends. Bye, friends. I'll see you next time.